Hi, folks. Once again, welcome to Contractor Foreman, and welcome to the second video of the introductory video series to help you get rolling with the software. In the first video, I just gave you a general overview of the technology and the platform. This video, I want to show you, walk you through the 38 different modules within Contractor Foreman and give you a sense of what each of those modules is useful for. So without any further ado, let's begin. Once again, here we have the Contractor Foreman panel view page. Now, to get access to the functions within the software, you simply click on the dashboard and pull down. Now, you can see here the Select a Project button. This is useful if you're working on one particular project. Then you can set the default project so all the records you're working on are within that project, or you can go and just find a project here. So just a quick search. To get access to the 38 or so functions within Contractor Foreman, as I say, you pull down the main menu dashboard. Now you'll notice that there's just sort of they're listed. Now we've deliberately designed the dashboard so that you can go into the function that you need and want to run. Some software that I've used require you to go through a particular process to get to different functions. We took the decision that if you need to go and create an expense, you don't need to go to a project and then a location and then expense. You just go into the expense. So that was the philosophy behind the design of the menu. We have the 38 modules or functions rather are all part of the same program. So Contractor Foreman isn't a bunch of different software packages put together. It is one piece of software with many different functions. So let me walk through from the left to the right here. The project management group of modules, I refer to them as the activity-based modules. Starting with the project module. Now this module is the capstone module, if you will. When you have a job to do, whatever your business is, whether it's renovating a house, doing an addition, building a bridge, building a warehouse, whatever, it's a project. And as you do the project, you of course have activities. And so the activity records are all listed here. The daily logs give you the ability to record day by day what's going on. And the nice thing about the daily log is that you can take lots of pictures about your project and you can share that with the customer using the client portal, which is activated in the project record. The schedule module gives you the ability to create a Gantt chart schedule. Within Contractor Foreman, the Gantt chart schedule is useful for larger projects. I would say that if you're doing a 1 or 2 or 3 week project, you're not going to do a Gantt chart schedule. Probably the crew schedule might be useful for that. But if you've got a multi-month project with many tasks and employees and subcontractors involved, the Gantt chart schedule is a great module to use for that. The to-do module is just what it says. It's a series of to-dos. You can create a nice little checklist for standard operating procedure, as we call it. So you can create a to-do that's a template and use it over and over again. So when I go in and do a job, I got to check this and this and this and this. That's one use of it. It can also be just really simple. Hey, Bob, don't forget to pick up the drywall. So a lot of flexibility in that particular module. I'm going to hop over to the forms and checklists. If you do have a checklist that you need to go through on a job, for example, I've got an HVAC customer and he wants a particular startup checklist to be used so that his technician double checks pressures, temperatures, fittings, and so on that he runs through. And then when he leaves the job, he's got another checklist. The to-do just gives you an ability to say, I did it or I didn't, whereas the forms and checklists give you the ability to describe and record temperatures and pressures and dates and things. Then the work order module, we've found it useful for short jobs. Maybe you've got a 2-week project. You can use it that way. You can also, of course, assign work within the project to individuals. I've also seen customers use the work order as an informal change order, although good business practice is to actually formalize any changes that your customers make. The inspections module gives you the ability to record or have your inspectors record what they found when they went through their task, your electrical, plumbing, and so on. If there was a remediation required, then the punch list will be created and assigned to the individual to rectify. And I always found it a little interesting. I always wondered why the origin of punch list, and it turns out it stems back from Egyptian times, when the project managers there would have a list of things that needed to be done, and they would create a list on their papyrus, and when they were complete, they would punch a hole in the list to indicate that the task was complete. The service ticket module has a couple of uses. The simplest use is handyman kind of work. So a customer phones up, they've got a leaky faucet, a broken window, a squeaky door. They want someone to come out and fix it. So that's less than a day's kind of work. And the service ticket can be quite self-contained. So you assign it to the technician, they go out and do the work. They record the materials they use. They can actually issue the invoice right there on the spot. Or if you prefer, of course, the invoice can be issued back in the office. And then the final module in this group is the permits module. And this just allows you to collect your building, electrical, plumbing, whatnot permits there. It also records when they're expiring and when they need to be pulled and all that sort of information. So these, as I say, these are the activity type records, and not all customers use all of the functions that we have. And so this would be a good time to just point out over here in the settings module, we have the ability in the enable, disable features to say, hey, if I'm not going to use a particular module, I don't even want to see it on my list. So I can just disable that from my list. And so that simplifies the menu for you, and you can figure out which ones you want to use in that case. Now, I skipped over the opportunities module. It's more of a sales, I guess, or a not prospecting, but a sales activity tool. So where I've seen this used is a customer has multiple requests. So a customer that you deal with regularly calls you up for another opportunity. You may not get them all, but if you record the opportunity and work it through to completion, then you have a record of, hey, how many opportunities has this guy given me that we've never done any business with? So that's where I tend to see the opportunity record used mostly. The financials tab, any system, you got to keep track of the money. And so the financials group of modules allow you to keep track of the money coming in and the money going out. So the usual starting spot is the estimate module. And in video 3, I will go through that whole process with the estimate, create it, and show you all the features. But what I do want to show here is the capability of renaming the estimate. Well, two things I want to show. First of all, I want to show the example of the just-in-time video. So here's the video on the estimating module. This one is one of our longer videos. It's 25 minutes by itself. All recorded by Rob Bruce, who's one of the owners of the company. And Rob's got 30 years of experience in the industry, taught construction management. So Rob's videos describe how the product is used, but more importantly, they give a sense of why it's designed the way it is. So they're very good that way. In each module, you'll see this gear up on the top right. And what this does is this allows you to quickly go into the settings of that particular module, obviously if you're an admin or have the authority, and you can adjust certain things within the module here. I'm not going to go through all these. They're mostly self-explanatory. But what I wanted to point out is that if you prefer another name than estimate, as some customers do, they prefer quote, they prefer bid, you name it, and just rename it here. And I believe just about every module can be renamed on that. So usually the starting spot is the estimate, proposal, quote. That's where you put together what you're going to charge the customer and how much you figure it's going to cost. Then within the estimate module, we have an invitation to bid capability. And what we found was that you may have a number of estimates out with a number of invitation to bids out. And so you wanted to be able to look across the system and see all the status of those things. So the bid manager gives you the ability to see all of your outstanding bids. Then the change order module is used for when the customer wants an addition or maybe a subtraction from the approved work. So usually you create the estimate that gets approved, that makes the project. You're going along, the customer may want to change, then the change order module is used. Within Contractor Foreman, only one approved estimate can be assigned to a project. So if you have changes to the project, then the change order module is the way to go. And not only that, you then have a documented record that the customer agreed to the change. So you're not going to get an argument in the billing. Then we want to keep track of the money coming in. So you invoice the customer with the work you've done. And we've got a very flexible capability of invoicing. We also support the AIA style of invoices for those of you that need it. And then as the customer pays you, hopefully, you record the payments on that. So we keep track of the money coming in for you, and then we keep track of the money going out. So purchase orders are used where you acquire your material or rent your equipment. Your subcontractors, where you issue your subcontract for the people that do the work. And as your vendors and contractors bill you, we record those bills in the bills module. So we keep track of the money going out. Now, I always like to emphasize that the expenses module is really designed as a miscellaneous expenses. So per diems, I forgot some drywall, I need to go and get, my generator broke, I need to go get another generator, but I want to charge it to the project. Anything that's sort of beyond what you estimated or had in the change order. That's the purpose of that. So money going in, money going out. Then the people module group, this is where we keep track of all the people that you're dealing with and what happens with them and sort of people related information. So the directory in Contractor Foreman is where we store all of the individual people that you deal with. Employees are those people that work for you, and contractors are those people that work for you. Now, both contractors and employees can be given user access to the system. The main difference, and each of them can record hours against the project. The difference between those two is with the employee record, Contractor Foreman gives you the ability to indicate their hourly wage burden and billing rate. So if April in this example recorded an hour against the project, the job labor cost would be $40 1 hour times the $40 there. So that we don't do payroll, but we do record your labor cost within the system. Contractors can be given user access as well. And where I've seen that used is you've got a trusted subcontractor. You want to give him or her access to the system so they can produce a daily log, take pictures of what they're doing, and share with everybody on the project. Customers are the people that pay the bill. Vendors are your suppliers, Lowe's, Home Depot, and the like. Miscellaneous contacts are your building inspectors, architects, those kinds of folks. Leads are prospects in Contractor Foreman, so those are the people that have expressed an interest in you doing some work, but they haven't made a commitment yet. Now, lead record, you can just create a lead record in the system. So somebody phones in, you just hit leads. You create the lead record, you fill in the information, and then you can indicate here in the sales tab the activity that you want to do. And that can be assigned to somebody in your company. They can deal with it and work it through to completion. Now, for those of you with a website, if we go into the module settings here, we have the ability to turn on a lead capture form. So the lead capture form is just first of all, it's a toggle yes, no. If you say yes, then it opens up this menu for you, and you indicate what fields you want to capture. You indicate who you want to receive the notification, and it could be more than one person within your company. And then this HTML code is the code you would give to your website developer, so he or she could put up the contact me page on your website. Then if anybody comes to your website, fills out the form, this person will get notified that there's a new lead. Now, in addition, the other thing that I want to point out here, so often comes up, is, how do I import my list of customers, vendors, contractors, and so on? So you'll notice down here there's the import options screen or button, and that allows you to import the employees, contractors, or customers. So you just look at the template, you populate it, and then you import it. And you do need to import employees into employees and contractors into contractors, though you can't just import with one humongous file into all 5 categories or all 6 categories. The time card module in Contractor Foreman is used by about 90% of our customers. So I do like to touch on that in this video. There's 4 different ways of putting your time into the system. The time card's analogous to the old punch clock. So you just select your project and clock in. If I was doing this on my phone or tablet, then my GPS position would be captured. We also have a geofencing capability where the individual has to be within a certain geography in order to be able to clock in. So that's the individual clocking in and clocking out. You can assign someone in your company as a time card administrator who can modify this time card if there was a mistake made. The crew card gives you the ability for a crew chief to clock a team of guys in and a team to take a break at the same time and to resume at the same time and clock out. So that's everybody's working on exactly the same hours. The crew sheet also gives you the ability to deal with a crew, but in this case, what you can do is you can specify you've got 5 or 6 people in the crew, then each of them can start at different times and end at different times or work different numbers of hours. So you can use the start and stop time, or you can use the hours time against a project and a cost scope. And then the weekly sheet, which is the 4th idea, a 4th time card, gives you the ability to look across your company at all the employees who've clocked in and see how many hours they put in against which project. So it's kind of like a mini time report, if you will, for a weekly period. Very useful. Plus, you can just go ahead and add time in one spot here. The nice thing about the weekly sheet is that regardless of how you get the hours in, time card, or crew sheet, they will all appear against the employee on the weekly sheet. And then this button gives you the ability to download and have a mini time card report. Then the leads record, for those of you that have a bit of a sales team, you can see here that this gives you the ability to see your leads in kind of a CRM capability. So you can look at all leads, you can just look at my leads, you can see the status of these different leads. You could just add a particular task to a lead record here. You can then go ahead and you can generate an estimate from this particular lead, convert them to a customer, and so on. So nice little sales funnel capability here with that lead record. Each user gets a calendar. And in Contractor Foreman, we have something like 25 different activity records related to the system. And that's very good, so that if you've got a sales guy, obviously they're going to be worried about sales activity type records. If you've got an admin accounting person, they're going to be worried about the invoices due, bills due, and payments due type records. So each person gets to customize their calendar, which will synchronize with Outlook and Gmail. The crew schedule gives you the ability to schedule a crew dynamically. So you list the employees you want to see on the schedule, and you just go ahead and create a new shift. And that's a very convenient way. And then you can send a notice to everybody in the system. Then incidents, in addition to incident reporting, it has an employee write-up capability in this record. So if you want to record OSHA related activities, that is part of this record. And then there's a report that you can produce from that. And then we have safety meetings. We have over 800 safety meeting topics built into the system. And so that makes it very easy to fire up a safety meeting. If you want to create your own, you certainly can. But this is a bit of a hidden gem, our safety meeting module. And then in the documents area, obviously in any project, there's a bunch of documentation required, not all of which you might need. But the Files and Photos tab is the module that keeps track of all the different digital files related to a project. So you can see here, I built myself a garage this past summer, rather, act as a GC. And so I have a number of different records that I used related to this project. And the change order had some attachments. The daily logs have a bunch of pictures attached here. And the estimates, in this case, had 14 different files. So you can see that any digital file can be attached. There's no limit to storage. And I've got PDFs here and spreadsheets and Word documents. The little man symbol is a quick indication of whether you're sharing it with the client or you're not sharing it with the client. So if it's an outline, you're not sharing it. If it's solid, you are. And so that's kind of convenient. You can keep a bunch of internal documents related to the estimate that the customer will not see. We give you an ability to do a markup on documents. So I'll just use this as a very quick example. It's an annotation capability. So you may have some plans here. You can annotate with a little text. You can put a box in somewhere here, highlight that. You got a pencil. You can highlight something there, and maybe a highlighter here. So just an ability to do a little markup and share the information. And the markup can be done from the app as well as the desktop. And we have a little measurement capability here as well, where you can put a measure on there. I do want to emphasize that this is not a takeoff capability. It's just a markup capability. And there's more function here than I'm showing you, but that just gives you a sense of it there. I have customers that upload the videos. We don't have a video player, but we do have the ability to store the videos here. And for those of you that want to, you can use Zapier to move the files and photos to Dropbox or OneDrive on that. We don't charge for storage, so you can upload as much information as you want. Quickly running down the rest of these then, the reports, we have 57 built-in reports. And the reports are generally focused on job costing and job cost analysis. That's what Contractor Foreman's strength is. We don't produce your tax reports, your balance sheet, your profit and loss statement, although we do have some reports that show profitability across projects. So what I encourage you to do is explore these a little bit. Have a look at them, run some sample reports, see what they look like. Your system will have some sample data in it, so you can see some information there. Then the forms and checklists I alluded to, we have 64 built-in forms and checklists, but you can create your own, of course. But different different uses of this module. I mentioned the HVAC customer as an example. Then requests for information and schedule and compliance notices are here. Vehicle logs for those, if you've got company trucks and so on, then this allows you to keep track of their maintenance and how many miles are on them and the operator usage. The equipment logs, these are logs for the equipment that you use on your projects. So, most often I've seen it with things like bulldozers and excavators and graders and so on. You want to bill the job, the use of those pieces of equipment. And so the equipment log allows you to do that in conjunction with the daily log. Submittals, again, mostly used in the commercial space. You've got a contract, you want to substantiate to the architect that you've done what you said you were going to do. And then notes, I liken this to just a sticky note. I'm going to create a quick note just to remind me to do something or just to observe something, whatever you want to use. It's just a note. You can send an email to anybody within your directory that has an email address, obviously, and you can attach any of the files that are in the system to that email if you wish. And then the document writer module here is the module that I liken to Microsoft Mail Merge. So I've got an example. I've created a lien waiver for a customer. So the text of the document is somewhat standard, but you want to put in some variable fields, maybe dollar amount, the customer name, the address, and so on and so forth. So it's that kind of capability where you can pull variable fields from within the system to make a custom document. Over here in the settings and support is our admin area. Now the settings module is the main admin area here. I like to point out to people that what we've tried to do is make the settings of Contractor Foreman useful right out of the gate, so you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to do your first estimate or whatever. So you can use the system right out of the gate and then go back in here and adjust things. So the profile is where you set up your company. Your details is where you set up your particular information. And we have a number of integrations in the system, and the integrations module tells you how all that works. So we've got these different categories. What seems to be most often requested and asked about is the QuickBooks integration. And so the QuickBooks integration area has a nice little online guide, a QuickBooks online guide and a QuickBooks desktop guide. QuickBooks Online is available with the Plus, Pro, and Unlimited plans. The QuickBooks Desktop is available with the Pro and Unlimited plans. We also provide you some consultation in your QuickBooks integration process. So what I suggest to people is they get used to Contractor Foreman, have some training sessions, make sure that they understand how they're going to use the system, and then initiate a session with our QuickBooks consultant. Just make sure you've got everything sorted out straight before you initiate the synchronization on that. So and then going down here, the cost items database. This is our database of material, equipment, labor, subcontract items. Often I've seen customers with a fairly significant list of items in the material bucket. So they get an updated price list from their supplier, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. Then they can just simply import that updated price list into the cost items database. Makes your estimating a little more accurate, and you can pull those items in. And I have one customer does this once every 3 weeks. He updates that. The match is on item name, and so if I had an item 1/2-inch drywall in my spreadsheet with a different price, then that price would be updated in my cost items database for me. So a very convenient way there. We provide one-on-one training support, and to book that, you use the trainings module. Each plan has a certain number of hours available, and then there's hours available at an additional cost. But just go ahead and book the trainings, book those trainings with that. And then the support button refers to our knowledge base. So we're continuing to expand the knowledge base because Contractor Foreman is updated every month. The knowledge base is always expanding. And if you have any good ideas for a good knowledge base article, send them over to me, and we'd be glad to incorporate them. So they have that support there. Okay, I think that really covers what I wanted to cover in this area. So directory settings, administrative area, I think we're good to go. So thank you for your attention. And video 3 in this series will walk through the creation of an estimate and some of the details in that module and move it over to a project. So look forward to seeing you there.